Hi, hi, everyone. Hi. If you can see me, say hi to Abby. If you can see me and hear me, say okay. Okay, that's nice. Okay, nice to see you guys. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, depending on where you guys are joining us from. Thank you so much for being here today. I don't know how your week has been. My week has been quite fine. I don't know about you. Have you guys been well? I think the last time I was on this call with you guys, something happened to our lights and I had to leave you guys and I never came back. Hopefully, it never happens again. I just want to clarify that that doesn't usually happen. I don't want anyone to think that we have light problems in Nairobi. We don't. It just happened at that day. They just decided that we're not going to have lights on that day. So please, then let's not assume that that's what happens in my country. That does not happen. It was a very unfortunate event that happened. I did not see it coming. And unlike us in Nairobi, we don't have generators. We don't because we usually have concert lights. So there was no way for me to come back up. But yeah, it's nice to see you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. Um, Yes, yes, but I cannot drag Nigeria now. I cannot drag Nigeria because I am in Lagos. So if the grid falls down and everything happens, I also get to feel it. Yes, but yeah, it's so good to be here. I know Sandrine is somewhere here. Sandrine, you want to say hi? I hope Sandrine can join us and say hi. But thank you so much, guys, for being here today. Thank you for joining and thank you for also agreeing to take part in this session. As I had earlier mentioned, the community team and the careers team, we usually collaborate from time to time to have sessions where at some point we just bring people, external guys to come on board and talk to you or us about different topics that we feel are going to be very important for you. So it's not what you're learning in the LMS. We're not having a live class. This is not a live class, but this is a live session. You can call it a webinar, you can call it a talk, but basically these are just some other sessions that we have based on some people that are very kind enough to give back to the community, people that are industry professionals and they enjoy coming back and sharing information or sharing their knowledge with people in our community, right? And so that is why we are here today, and we are very fortunate because today our speaker is someone that is a very close friend. I know him personally, and he's also been part of us before. And yeah, so it's an honor seeing him back again for after a very long time. To see him and the fact that he honored the invitation to come on board and teach you guys about learning how to learn. So I'm hoping that after this session, we're going to learn a lot from Olua Sheun. Yes. Yeah. So Sheun is going to be joining us very soon on stage and kick off this session. But are you guys ready to learn how to learn? Are you guys ready to learn how to learn? Thank you, Nkechi. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I don't know. I'm also curious, like learning how to learn. But backstory, one of the interesting things about this topic, even when Sandrine came to me and when Sandrine said that, oh, let's do a session on learning how to learn. I mean, one of the first people that came to my mind was definitely Sean because he's always been talking about this. He's someone that's very passionate about ed tech and just designing systems for people to learn, learning programs. And he's always talked about learning how to learn and how important it is to learn how to learn, especially for people that get into such programs. And I'm just happy to see that he's back here to talk to us about this topic. Okay. So I don't know if Shine, if you could please join me on stage, Guys, let's welcome Sean. Let's clap for him. Let's do all those things that we do to welcome him. I feel like Sean and I look alike. Do you look alike? So good to see you, Sean.
Good to see you too, Tabi. Even after throwing shades to our light, uh, I've been listening to you throwing shades to Lagos, saying that you don't own Jen in Nairobi.
You know I cannot do that. You know that Lagos is my second home. You know that. It wasn't. I did not have any ill intentions.
We will ensure that you are hooked forever in Lagos.
Yeah. So I'm going to allow Shelton to talk more about himself because he's a man with many hats. He's a product manager. He's a community manager. He's just does so many things. So I'll allow him talk about what he does or who he is, and then he will take over the series. So thank you so much, Sheldon, and please the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, everyone. It's great to be back home. Hot school is home. I know this set might not know me, but perhaps maybe they would have heard about me. But Hot school is home. It's great to be back home, and just as Tabi rightly said, I'm someone that is passionate about learning because learning is continuous, and at every point you find yourself, one of the things that can stand you apart is your ability to learn as fast as possible, especially in this fast-paced landscape that we find ourselves. Thank you, everyone. It's important, and also putting into consideration the kind of the demography of people that we have in Hot School Africa at the moment. Most students working class, mix of working class, people just starting out in their career, people uh Jennifer, please. People starting out in their career, people who are mid-level in their career, people who are already at the top of their career, but they are looking at venturing into new or something else. So that is why it's important for us to learn how to learn. Please confirm you can hear me. If you can hear me, please type in the chat section. All right, fantastic, fantastic. Um, so yeah, a bit intro about myself. I'm a multidisciplinary professional. I wear so many hats, and I'm not just a jack of all trade, master of none. I started my career or my academics journey from being a core science student. I studied computer science, and after graduating from studying computer science, I went back to school to study music because I'm passionate about music. So I went back to school to study music. And yeah, going back to school to study music, I have to, if you are a Nigerian, you will know that as a um that be please, you know that as a science student, uh going back to study music means that I have to go and write another O level. So I have to write another WAEC in arts. Then I have to write another jam focused on arts entirely. So I've had my own shares of learning how to learn, and over time, um, that has been one of my inspiration to share my story. So from my background in computer science, I studied computer science at Cyber College of Technology, then went back to Lagos State University to study music. And in all of these two careers, uh, I have excelled. God has given me grace to excel in both. I've played music. My music has been, recorded and played across the whole world. And in tech, I'm doing amazingly well. So a little bit of my background in tech. I've worked with Ingressive for Good. Uh, if you all know Ingressive for Good, I worked with Ingressive for Good for a couple of years, from Ingressive for Good to Old School Africa, from Old School Africa. I'm now doing things with the federal government, the 3MTT, and also working as a technical product manager at mycover.ai right now. And yeah, so I think with a bit of my background, you all will agree with me that I'm a bit qualified to talk to you about learning how to learn. All right. So permit me to share my screen right away. Let me see. Abdullah. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm you can share. You can see my screen right now. All right, all right, all right. Great, great. So we are going to start off this session. While I was researching and trying to put my thoughts together, I just retweak the topic and I put mastering the art of learning, mindset, strategies to excel in any subject. So, Tabi now, please, somebody should take the keyboard away from Tabi, please. So, the goal is to ensure that you have a mindset shift to learn how to learn, because in this fast-paced world that we are, one of the things that can set you apart, like I mentioned that earlier, is your ability to adapt and learn fast. Over the year, I've interviewed a couple of technical talents, and while interviewing them, either a back-end engineer, a front-end engineer, a product person, a technical writer, one of the things I look out for is the ability for them to unlearn and relearn. Like I mentioned, you can see my background. My background was in core computer science, then to music, and now I'm working fully in an insurance company, building insurtech infrastructure. Insurance was not something that I know of before. The first time I will work on insurance was my uh, role at mycover.ai, and then I have to build what other developers are going to use. So what I do at mycover.ai is that I oversee the insurance infrastructure that we are building, which means that with our infrastructure, you can embed insurance in all of your platforms. Now, apart from my technical skill, I need to learn about insurance, which I don't have background in. And the first couple of days, because I have to um, put on my learning into my first 30 days, my first 60 days, my first 90 days. What am I going to do to be able to cope in this new domain, which we are going to look at as part of what I'm going to be sharing with us. You can see I entered a new domain, which was insurance, and I have to excel in it, because if I don't excel in it, hunger will finish me. I have to work and make money. And perhaps when I'm looking for that opportunity, I wasn't able to get opportunity that fits into what I might want to do. But now I have an opportunity in insurance. Okay, what do I have to do? I have to learn and build. And that is the mindset shift that um we want to discuss about today. Timlane, mycover.ai is an insurtech, right? So mastering the art of learning, mindset strategies to excel in any subject. And I mean any subject. This is applicable to anything you are learning. At least with my background, you've seen how I've navigated from science to art to doing insurance, working core technically, working in community management and community building. So any subject at all. So that is what we'll be discussing right now. So our agenda will be discussing about the growth mindset, a key to success, understanding how the brain learns, the practical technique to enhancing retention, building effective learning habits, and then we move on from there. Please kindly confirm you can still see my screen and you can still hear me, right? Okay, fantastic. Am I too fast? Am I too fast? All right, great, great. All right. So the growth mindset, learning how to learn is having a growth mindset. Because why do you need to learn in the first place? You are learning because you want to grow. And the belief that abilities can be, there's a belief that abilities can be developed through effort and persistence. So what that means is that if you don't have an ability before, through effort and being persistent, you can develop an habit. And what are these habits? The habits can be you learning a new skill, you picking up a new hobby, you are trying to get better. So for you to be able to learn how to learn, you must first have a growth mindset. Please, what are we saying no to? Can you see my screen? Yes or no? Say yes, I can see your screen, or no, I can't see your screen because I don't understand what you are saying no to. Yes. All right, all right, all right. Thank you, Emmanuel. So, in your journey of learning how to learn, you must have a growth mindset. I know, Tabi, can you confirm what is the demographic of students here? Is this all the three schools, or we have a focus area here so that I know how to tackle the audience? Do we have people from School of Products, School of Data, School of Engineering? All schools, fantastic, fantastic. All right. So if you are in SOD, if you are in SOP, if you are in SOE, irrespective of your school, one thing everybody must have is growth mindset. If you are doing something else before coming to hot school, maybe you are in sales, you are in marketing, you are in accounting or finance, can you kindly signify in the chat session? Signify. Okay, TV and film. All right, fantastic, fantastic. Okay. Now, if law, I could see law, I could see marketing. So why are you in this space? You are in this space because you want to grow. So that growth mindset is very, very important when you are learning how to learn. So you must have the growth mindset and you must have the I can do this. I can do this mindset. And here I put a description of I can't do this here instead of I can't do this. So what is the difference between I can't do this and I can't do this yet? Take for instance now, I want to write an exam this year and I start preparing for the exam. And due to a circumstance beyond my control, I had to pause the exam, though I'm preparing for the exam. Now, having a growth mindset is me saying that I can't do this yet, even though I need to do this. But right now, I can't do this. Instead of me shutting off myself, oh, I can't do this exam. This exam is hard and I can't do this. A personal example is I'm to write PMP this year. PMP is Project Management Professional. I've paid for the exam and I've applied. My application has been approved, but due to my schedule, I can't write the exam right now because of my schedule. I'm not canceling the exam because I can't write it. There's that growth mindset that right now I can't do this yet because of my schedule. I will do it later. And there's plan for me to do it later. But right now, I can't do this yet. So there's difference between I can't do this yet and I can't do this. So you must dissify your mind from growing into I can't do this yet instead of I can't do this. Some people have something called advanced imposter syndrome. And what do I call advanced imposter syndrome? You might not see it anywhere. Imposter syndrome in itself is you saying that, oh, you know that you can do that thing, but at some point you feel that you can't do it, you are doubting yourself, doubt comes in, and you can't really place your hand to do that thing. Even though you might have done that thing in your closet, but maybe it's time for you to do it to show people you are doubting yourself. That is imposter syndrome in itself. But advanced imposter syndrome, as I always say with some people, is you saying that, oh, I can't do this, I can never do it. It's like me saying I can never work in insurance, I can never work in fintech, or I can never work in edtech. You must do away with that mindset, because for you to excel as a techie, you must have the mindset of I can do this, or I can't do this yet. I can't do this yet might means that all of you here, you are studying to become a thought leader in your choosing field, right? Either you are in product marketing, product management, data analysis, you are in engineering. You can't code yet, but you are going to code later. Now, the journey between I can't do this yet to when you can do it is where the mindset comes in. That growth mindset. So you want to become a data analyst, you want to become a data engineer, but you can't work as a data engineer yet. That is why you are in art school. And that is why you have to build that growth mindset. Now, beyond that growth mindset, while you are still a student or when you are learning that skill, it is very, very important that when you get to the field, you have that growth mindset. I'm telling you, that is a very important determinant into how you excel within the tech ecosystem. You might have the skill, you might be a JavaScript engineer, you might be a PHP backend engineer. Then you get to an organization, you are rightly employed as a PHP engineer, and perhaps because of a feature change or a change in your tech stack, there's a need for you to start writing Node. And then this organization is paying you well, perhaps it's paying you in dollars. And then your engineering manager or your engineering team lead is saying, oh, Pius, you need to start learning JavaScript, because in the next 3 months, we are migrating our stack to JavaScript. I know there are some people that they are language bias. They are language bias. I can never write PHP. I can never write JavaScript. I can never write Ruby. But ideally, all of these things are tools, and you must see them as tools. The learning curve might be different, but you must have that growth mindset to see all of these things as tools for you to grow within your role. So growth mindset is very, very important. All right, are you with me? If you are with me, can you type growth mindset in the chat session, please? All right. Thank you, Blessing. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's go to the next slide. All right. Now, having understand that for you to be able to keep learning and learning how to learn, you need to have a growth mindset. How does the brain now work? So I kind of put how the brain work into two concepts. There is the neuroplasticity. The neuroplasticity. What does this mean? This means how the brain adapts. And if for science students that are here, we have the adaptability of the human nature. And what differentiates each species is how they adapt. All right. So for you to be able to learn, you must have that adaptability nature. Now, some people were working in TV and film. Now they are learning data analysis. What is happening in that moment is you are able to adapt, and you must train your brain to adapt. Someone say train your brain to adapt. If you are with me, can you type in the chat session, train your brain to adapt? All right. Thank you, Blessing. I think Blessing is my most engaging student here. You must train your brain to adapt. And that is the concept of neuroplasticity. That English is too big, Abby. Yeah. So you must train your brain to adapt. At every point in time, you must adapt. You know, you are learning another concept now. How do you ensure that that concept become part of your muscle memory? Making that concept to become your muscle memory is adapting that now I'm in flight operation. I'm now learning software engineering and I need to excel in software engineering. The growth mindset in you is what gives you the curiosity to want to move from flight operations to software engineering. Now that you are now in software engineering, how can you excel while learning? You must train your brain to adapt. Then you must understand the stage of memory usage. The stage of memory usage: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Encoding is how you consume. How do you consume the resources that you want to learn? That is encoding. How do you consume? And you must understand the best way that your brain work in encoding resources. Now, what are the ways at which you can encode resources into your muscle memory or into your brain? Through visuals. Some people do well in watching video. So you must understand what works for you. Understanding the stages of your memory. We are talking about encoding. Now, how do you encode information? How do you encode resources? So encoding resources can be through visuals, by watching, by um watching video, looking at pictures, looking at the visual representation, looking at visual demonstration of how that thing is being done. Some people don't learn through reading. In fact, give them book or be reading that book to them from now to tomorrow. They will not listen to you, or they might listen and not be able to process it. But give them a 10 minute video on how to cook jollof rice. They are going to get into the kitchen and cook one of the best jollof rice to you, because their brain is wired to learn via visuals. And that is why if you see some of your learning resources, you will see that you will see PDF, you will see demonstration of some of your pre-recorded courses, and also your instructor visualizing that to you. So you must understand your encoding process. If you are with me, can you type your encoding process here? Haven't demystify the first aspect of encoding process, visual. What is your own encoding process? Victor, what is your encoding process? Is it through visuals, through audio, or through reading? All right, okay. Visuals. Okay, I could see more visuals. Okay, reading. Okay, visuals and audio. So Ellen said I hate reading. All right. So in learning how to learn, you must understand your encoding process. Very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. You must learn the process of encoding that works for you. So we've spoken about visuals. Another way is audio. So audio. And of course, sometimes there is a combination of both audio and visual. So you see audiovisual materials, or what have you. For me, I learn through audios than visual sometimes, because visual sometimes distract me. I multitask a lot, and while I'm multitasking, I still want to learn. So sometimes I might be riding, I might be taking a walk, I might be walking, and I'm just there listening to podcasts. You know, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I subscribe to a lot of podcasts, and when I'm walking or when I'm riding, I'm having a long ride or I'm in the train, I just plug in my headphone and I'm listening. So the chunk of my learning process comes through podcasts, because I don't have that ample time to sit down to start watching videos sometimes. and I also listen to audiobooks. So for me, it's audio and reading. So, and some people, it is textual. Textual in the sense that they learn by reading. From reading, uh, from getting textbooks to downloading PDFs, to reading articles, to reading publication. That is their way of reading. So in learning how to learn, I haven't embodied the growth mindset, which was the first concept that we spoke about. Then you now need to understand how your brain learns. And looking at how your brain learns is ensuring that you understand your encoding process. So from encoding process, either through visual, either through audio or audiovisual, or through textual, you now begin to explore the one that works for you, right? Are you with me, hot schoolers? All right. All right. So we are going to get, I could see Tabi saying I learned through practice. Okay. So now that is where we are getting to. So how do you store? I haven't encoded the resources, I haven't encoded what you need to learn. How do you store? So storage comes from practice, trying to emulate what you've listened to. Now, if I watch how to cook jollof rice and I did not get into the kitchen to cook jollof rice, will I ever know how to cook jollof rice? Okay, Sandrine, oh, sorry. Will I, if I watch how to cook jollof rice and I did not get into the kitchen to cook jollof rice, will I actually know how to cook jollof rice? All right. So, and that is where the storage comes in. And the storage is actually what we call muscle memory. So, building your muscle memory comes from practicing. Now, I've watched the video of how to cook Ghana jollof rice. I've been cooking Nigeria jollof rice. Now, I want to see what is that thing that differentiates between Ghana jollof rice and Nigerian jollof rice. So I now go to a YouTube channel and then I land on a Ghana chef um YouTube channel, and then I started learning how to cook that jollof rice. Now, what makes me store that information and will make me to cook that jollof rice the second time without watching that video is the process of storing that information. And storage comes from practice. If you are with me, can you type storage comes from practicing? I'm waiting for you guys. Storage comes from practicing. Somebody is Victor. I could see what you did there. All right. So, and practicing build your muscle memory. Can somebody type that? Practicing build your muscle memory. Storage comes from practicing, then practicing builds your muscle memory. All right, Emmanuel, I can see what you did there. So while you are encoding, then you are storing. After storing, the result of storage is that you build your muscle memory. Now, out of building your muscle memory is what we now call retrieval, because whatever is not in your muscle memory, you find it difficult to retrieve. It's just like I want to retrieve water from my fridge. If I don't put water in my fridge, will I be able to retrieve it? No, I won't be able to retrieve anything from my fridge. But because I've encoded the water, I've stored the water in the fridge for it to be cold. Now, the process of it getting cold or getting iced is the muscle memory part. Then I want to retrieve. That means I'm taking the water from the fridge to drink. So for you to be able to optimally retrieve information, you must learn to build your muscle memory. And for you to build your muscle memory, you must learn to practice. And for you to practice, you must learn to encode. Are you with me? If you are with me, say ah ah. Am I too fast? All right, thank you, Pelumi. All right. So you cannot understand how the brain learn, from adapting to a subject matter, then how having adapted to the subject matter, you are now encoding that information. So you must encode. So after encoding, you now store. And storage is your ability to practice and reproduce that information. So you must be able to reproduce that information. Now, and you retrieving can be in form of you uh trying to display that concept. So you've read about how to develop a microservice. Take for instance, now you've encoded the information, you've practiced that information. Then you now get into a room where you have a technical assessment, and they are asking you to build a microservices. Now, out of you being able to practice, and that practicing has built your muscle memory, then you are able to retrieve. So retrieving might be in form of you giving a solution to a problem. So you are retrieving everything that you've learned. So you are trying to solve a problem, you are in a room and you are taking an assessment. Now retriever can come in form of you sharing your knowledge. So retriever can come in different form. So, and there's a concept that works for me that I always use when I'm learning a new material. I don't know, was it my dad? I think in my early days, somebody told me that it should be either my dad or one of my teachers, that you don't know anything until you can put it in writing. You don't know anything yet until you can put it in writing. That means you have learned that and have consumed that information. Now it's now time for me to put it in writing. So you writing about something too is you retrieving. And if you are here and you don't have a blog yet, if you are in school of science, school of engineering, school of data, or school of product, all of you must have a blog. If you don't have a blog yet, go and open one now, either Ashnode, Substack, or Medium. So what I do is that when I'm learning, when I take a course, maybe I want to learn product analytics and metric, and I took a course in product analytics and product metrics that takes about 2 weeks for me to go through the course. One thing I do is that at the end of that course, I publish an article. So I publish an article to internalize what I've learned by practicing, retrieving, and building my muscle memory. So your task number one, I hope your class, a minute, please. Oh, please. The power of my other screen just went off. Let me fix that. Yeah, we have dev.io and so on and so forth. Please give me one minute. The power of my other screen is off. All right. Uh, okay. All right. Confirm. You can see my screen. I know Tabi is already smiling. WordPress is not a blog platform, please. WordPress is a CMS. WordPress is a CMS. All right. Okay. Where are we? So I've touched this understanding how the brains learn. We've talked about the learning process, input, reading and listening. Then we talk about practice, repetition, and application. And then feedback, self-assessment, and correction. So feedback is also um, self-assessing yourself by all right, self-assessing yourself, and self-assessing yourself comes from writing an article too, so or sharing what you have learned among your friends. I don't know if you guys still have study group uh for all your your learning cycle. So your learning cycle, if you read something or you learn something, self-assessment and correction comes from you sharing with your colleagues. I learned about the prioritization technique in product management. I learned about Kano. I learned about the Moscow technique. And this is what I've learned. Now, there's a chance that some of your colleagues might have learned it too, and you rub minds together. So your learning process: input, reading, listening, practice, repetition, application, feedback, self-assessment, and corrections, right? Okay. So now, I want to understand the learning process. Now, what are the practical techniques to enhance retention? So, because one thing is to learn, one thing is to be able to retain the information. So, we are talking about learning how to learn. So, you are now learning now. How how do you retain what you've learned? So one of the way to retain what you've learned is active recall. Retrieve info without looking at a note. So perhaps when you are learning, you took notes. Take for instance, as I'm teaching now, you are taking notes. So if I was the one that attended this webinar now, supposing I'm a participant in this webinar, one of the things I'm going to do is reflecting on what I've learned from the webinar. And that is why it is always important for you to place value on your time. The time that you set aside to come to this webinar now, you must make it valuable by reflecting and retaining the knowledge, because it will be a waste of time for you to have come to this webinar and not be able to make use of some of the concepts that we are discussing. So active recall, retrieving info without looking at your notes, is one of the ways to retain what you've learned. And spaced repetition, review materials at intervals. Have you guys experienced the situation where a student try to read a night or the day of exam, and they got into the exam and they forgot everything? If that has happened to you before, please let me know in the chat session. So you are trying to prepare for an exam, then you start reading a day to the exam or just the day of the exam. So so it doesn't work. It doesn't work because building your muscle memory allows you to be able to retain information better. So, and that is why the spaced repetition. So I went to class today. When I went to class, I jotted something from the lecturer. The lecturer shared a material. What I do is that I ensure that that the topic that lecturer covers during that class, I read that topic when I get home or in my free time when I'm studying. So that is how I study during my undergraduate days. So if I go to class today and that lecturer shared a material, or if the lecturer did not share the material, I have my course outline in advance. I ensure that that topic that is being taught that day, the next day during my study time, I cover that topic. And that is what spaced repetition can do for you, reviewing materials at intervals, right? And also mind mapping, visual connection. Emmanuel and Victor, there is a way they were encoding and summarizing what I was saying the other time by using the first letter of each words. So that is one example of mind mapping. So visualizing your connection. Sometimes you might need to write using sticky notes. For me, I use sticky notes. You know, I used to write on the sticky notes. You can see my sticky notes. I have them a lot. I have different color of my sticky notes. You can see this is light green. This is yellow. Can you see my sticky notes? All right. So what I do is that I write small. I write fire brigade, and then is said fire brigade approach. It's not all concepts or all courses you can use fire brigade approach to. Daniel, the learning has not ended. Can't you hear me? Please, can you hear me? Yes. Blessing said mnemonic. Yes. Pseudocode. Speaking in mnemonics and pseudocode. So for me, what I do is I write on sticky notes. I have a board on my wall here, and I put those things on my board. So I kind of create a mind mapping and visualizing the concepts I'm learning. So there's also the Pomodoro technique of focused learning or focused work. So what is this technique? This technique suggests that you focused on learning something for 25 minutes, and then you give yourself a break. You can reward yourself by taking a walk, or reward yourself by taking a stretch, or reward yourself by snacking on something. So that is what that technique talks about. Instead of you studying, some people, when they are sitting for a long period of time, whatever they are reading at that point in time might get tiring. But if you read, I want to read 5 pages in the next 25 minutes, and then I'm going to take a break of 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, I stretch, I come back, grab some water or grab some snack, then I come back to my study spot. All right. So a quick tip is start with small wins to build momentum. Small win can be you reading 5 pages at a go, or you reading 2 pages at a go, or you reading 2 pages and then the next day you are able to write something about it as a form of retention. Are we good? All right. Now, having spoken about this concept, how then do you build an effective learning habit? So, in learning how to learn, you must also learn to build an effective learning habit. So, for me, how do I build an effective learning habit? I create a routine, and my routine is I read between the hour of 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. Like my serious reading, my serious focus time is from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. So I wake up by 4 a.m. and I started studying till 6 a.m. So from 6 a.m., family, devotion, quiet time. I want to do my home exercise, then prepare for the day. Because why do I choose that time? I choose that time because that is my peak hour. That is the most hour I'm more calm in the day. From 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., I'm very, very calm during that moment. Before I get into the day, attending meeting, resolving customer issue, resolving community members issue, and then I'm distracted. So, uh well, I read physical books. I have my iPad, I have my laptop, I have my phone. So, if you are reading on your phone, if you create a routine and you are using your phone to read, the best way to read at that point in time is to put your phone on DND or put your phone on airplane mode. So one of the ways to also learn ineffectively is distraction. So for me, if I'm reading, as at that time, I rarely have anybody that want to call me around 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. So 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. There is no distraction. So I create a routine. Now, set goals. You must set smart goal. I know you might have seen this all over again. Setting smart goals. Your goal must be specific. Okay, how many books do I want to read in a month? In my community, in one of the communities that I lead, we used to have book of the month. So we read a book monthly. So it's important for all the community members to read that book. So because it's specific, we are reading a specific book, and it's measurable. We are measuring it by a month. So what we do is that we divide the pages of the book by 30. So is it achievable? Is achievable by us dividing. If it is 1,000 pages, we divide 1,000 pages by 30. So, and is that book relevant? So you will see some people say, I read a lot, I read a lot. What you are reading, is it relevant? If you are reading magazine and you are in data analysis track, you are in data science track, reading magazine can be a way of whiling away time or at your leisure time. But reading magazine when you have an exam is not relevant. It's not relevant to what you want to learn. So whatever you are studying, whatever materials you are encoding into your muscle memory must be relevant, and it must be time bound. Take for instance now, whatever resources that you have on your learning portal now, you see that it's time bound. The resources you have in your first semester is not what you have in your second semester. So you must set specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goal for your learning process. And earlier, I said eliminate distractions. So you need to learn how to eliminate distractions. And in this world of digital noise everywhere, there are still ways to eliminate distraction. So for me, there are some books that I ensure that I buy their physical copy. I buy a lot of physical copy of books a lot, because sometimes I take the train a lot, and while I'm in the train, I just want to put my phone away or just use my phone to listen to music, and I want to read. So I always have books in my bag that I read. So learn to eliminate distraction is very, very, very important. I think for me, based on survey, one of the major issue of learners in 21st century is distraction. And this distraction comes from, it's not even environmental distraction, it's digital distraction. Also, practice reflection. You must assess progress regularly. So progress regularly or practicing reflection might be you publishing articles from what you've learned, sharing your knowledge, sharing concepts with a friend. You should have an accountability partner in your learning cycle. You should have an accountability partner within your learning track. And practicing reflection might be you sharing some of the things you've learned with your learning cycle member. So this is to challenge you that if you've not been active in your learning cycle, this is a challenge for you to start being active in your learning cycle. All right. Let's move on to the next thing. So, how do you overcome learning barriers? There are a lot of barriers that can come into your learning process, and one of the ways to overcome your learning barriers is to make do of procrastination. You must make do of procrastination. So, and how do you do away with procrastination? Is breaking tasks into smaller chunks. You might have tasks from your instructor. You have your individual course task. Then you are like, oh, this task is supposed to be submitted by 20th of December. It is the nature of learner, or it is in the nature of students to want to say that, oh, by on the 18th, that is when I want to start doing my assignment. Number one, don't only do assignment to pass. Do assignment to learn the concepts. Please, you are in this process of learning and you paid heavily. Even though if you get into this into old school through scholarship, somebody has paid for it, and then you don't want to pass through this 1 year or 9 months of learning, and you are still that person that you were about a year ago. Don't just do assignment to submit assignment. Please ensure that you do assignment to internalize and understand the concept. And how do you ensure that you are able to internalize a concept? Is by breaking the tasks down. So maybe they ask you that you should write a PLD for a fintech app that is trying to introduce crypto into their offering. So for me, the way I look at it is, okay, I'm to write a PLD. So I'm in Nigeria. I'm taking Nigeria. I'm taking train. I often take train from Lagos to Abeokuta. At least in a week I will take the train once, at least. Sometimes I take the train up to 4 times from Lagos to Abeokuta, then from Abeokuta to Lagos. Yeah, it's a 1 hour 10-minute journey, and I always like to make use of that 1 hour 10 minutes. All right, let's go back to overcoming procrastination. Now, I'm to write the PLD, right? And what is that PLD? The PLD is to analyze the requirements that is needed for us to start accepting crypto on our fintech platform. Number one, I want to I want to research on uh what are our competitors doing. So it might be competitor analysis. So my first day might be competitor analysis. So competitor analysis for me comes first. So what is competitor A doing, competitor B doing? Instead of me going into writing my PLD, so I might want to do my competitor analysis. Now, knowing what my competitors are doing, I now want to do, okay, what kind of technology are we even using to build our blockchain platform for us to be able to accept crypto? You can see that I've broken it down into different tasks to ensure that I achieve my overall goal of writing my PLD, of introducing crypto into our fintech platform. All right. So self-doubt is another thing. Self-doubt is another thing that is a barrier to learning. So you must reframe negative self-talk. Just like I started earlier, I can never know how to write Python, or I can never know how to use Jira. You must not say that to yourself. Instead, say, this Jira, I will know it. No matter what it takes, I will know Jira, I will use Jira, and I will know Jira. So can somebody write a sentence of what they've been struggling with? If it is, I will know how to write PLD, I will get better in writing PLD. Can you write something in the chat session? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys still hear me? All right, I like that. Okafor, yeah, I will pass my PA. Yes. All right, I will master .NET and be a badass dev. Yes. I'll be a cybersecurity guru. Yes, yes. Yeah, I like that. So you must refrain from self-doubt. There's no concept that cannot be learned. There's no concept. There's no concept. You will graduate from old school and not drop out. Yes. All right, Emmanuel, I'll be a competent cloud engineer. Yes, I love that. I must master Python. All right. That is great. That is great. All right. I will master the skill of reading Python documentation. That is fantastic. So you must refrain from negative self-talk at every point in time. Every semester, I know different concepts will be introduced to you, and some people will be like, "Oh, Omo, I no fit know how to use Figma. That Figma, I no fit know am at all." The moment you are saying that, you are already putting a barrier to yourself already. So you must refrain from negative self-talk. Now, burnout. In all of these things, you need to rest and take care of yourself. When the health expert said that we must sleep 8 hours for our body to reset, at least they must have put ample time in doing that research. So please, it's very, very important that you also ensure that you don't burn out. I know for us here, burnout might be something that we are experiencing already. From working your 9 to 5 job to you uh, studying, then becoming better at what you are doing, to you preparing for your hot school exam, all of these things are very, very much, to handle. So it is best for you to learn how to rest and self-care. Please learn how to take care of yourself. Might be from you checking your BP regularly, checking what you eat, checking. In fact, self-care is also looking out for what you consume, the kind of information you consume, the kind of things that you see, the kind of things that you say, both your mental and physical health. It is very, very important for you to rest, right? Okay. I wanted us to do something here, but okay. So let me ask this question. You have an exam in 2 weeks. What strategy will you use? You have an exam in 2 weeks. What strategy based on the concept that we've discussed are you going to use? We are getting to the end of the session already. Gbola said Komodo. It's not Komodo. Cramming. Who said cramming? Veronica, cramming. Active recall. Yeah, thank you. Cramming, cramming will not do it for you. Routine, I love that. Routine, allocate time to learning. All right. Spaced repetition, I like that, Emmanuel. Active recall. Yeah, if you see that, yeah, I put cramming, wrong answer. Cramming is a wrong answer. So spaced repetition, starting, you have exam in 2 weeks now. You don't want to wait till 2 days to your exam. You have to space your resources, okay? It's very, very important. And active recalling, you know. All right. So now, what is your biggest challenge with learning? Is it procrastination? What is your biggest challenge with learning right now? And which strategy are you going to use? Evelyn said procrastination. Electricity. Abela said electricity. Time management and procrastination. Distractions, multitasking. Wow. Lost mind. I think we are fatigued from Lagos traffic. Yeah, let me talk about lost mind and time management. So, lost mind, I don't want to go into the details of what is making you to lose your mind. I know adulthood in itself, I know for you to be here means that you really want to get better at becoming a better person. You really want to get better at increasing your earning power. That is why you are here. And then the day-to-day life issues are there. But let me tell you something, problem no dey finish. Problem won't finish. You have to learn how to navigate your way through it. Like one book, tough time never lasts, but tough people do. Tough time never lasts, but tough people do. So all of these things can make you to lose your mind. But in all these moments, tell yourself that this tough time won't last. I will overcome it. Tough time never lasts, but tough people do. So alight all of those things that is making you lose your mind. Put them on a scale of preference. Which one is important? Which one is compulsory? And which one is mandatory? And which one is irrelevant? So that way you're able to demystify your mind from clogging together and losing your mind uh, at the end. And time management, see, the only thing that we all have that is the same is the gift of 24 hours. Everybody have 24 hours. What makes the difference is what I use my 24 hours to do. Just like I mentioned earlier, I ensure that I read between the hours of 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. because of all of the commitments that I have. Anything that makes me miss that time. Before, I used to wake up in the middle of the night to read. But right now, I don't have that luxury of time again because I need to sleep well to be able to prepare myself for the next day. So I don't even try. I don't try waking up in the middle of the night to read again. What works for me is that cool hour of the morning. The weather is still cool. If there is no light and all, I'm still able to wake up in the cool hour of the morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., everywhere is still cool, and I'm able to, nail it. I can tell you that 2 hours alone used to go a long way for me than me saying that during the day I want to read at one particular time or the other. You know, Understanding the time that works for you. Some people is the middle of the night, but I don't expect people that have gone to work from morning, pass through Lagos traffic, you're at home around 11 p.m. Maybe by that 11 p.m. you are fixing something to eat, and then you say you want to read by 1 a.m. It might not work. It might be damaging your body. So it's very, very important for you to know what works for you. So I put some additional resources here. The these two, this last two on this one on Open Classroom and the open.edu, they are free and open. Let me click it. They are free and they are learn how to learn, and you can look at them. I will beg you to take this course to further help you grab some of the concepts that we've spoken here. I'm going to share this slide with my hosts. Then you can then go and take the course. So it's going to do you a lot of good beyond even your days in Hot School Africa. And also there is the Coursera one. So the Coursera one, I think you can audit it, or you can apply for financial aid. And there is this other one. So yeah, I think that brings us to the end of this session. All right. So keep learning, growing, and excelling, my super hot schoolers. If you can reach out to me and connect with me on LinkedIn and on Twitter. And if you have some specific question, you can email me via my email. Thank you all for listening to my TED Talk. This brings us to the end of the session. Then the floor is open for Q&A. All right. Thank you. Yeah, let me copy the link to some of the resources. Sandrine, are you there?
Hello, Shaun. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Please, everyone, let's give a big round of applause to Shaun. I cannot see already you guys are sending some. Keep them coming. Thank you very much, Shaun. This was really amazing session. Right on time with so much practical tips. That's what I loved most. I am more of a practical person. Talk about the learning strategies. Me, I'm more of a practical person. When I learn something, I want to know, okay, how do I go about it? So you really shared so much about the practical tips for people to learn. And I hope every single person got something for themselves. So thanks once again. I think we have a couple of questions. Let me go through them. The one is asking about the slides. I don't know if you could share the link in the chat. And then I'm seeing a question that asks, can encoding process change as we grow? If yes, why and how can one adapt to the brain's new way of learning?
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
they're actually under Q&A in case you'd like to go
I'm there already. So encoding process can change, and in fact over time the subjects you are learning informs how you even learn them. Take for instance now, I'm a musician. I'm learning how to play the piano, and then I'm learning how to play on key G. Maybe I'm comfortable playing on key C, key D, key E, but one of my weak point is playing on key G. So one way for me to learn, even though I love reading, one way for me to learn is to actually watch a pianist playing on key G and seeing their finger techniques. So the way we learn can be informed by the subject or by the topic or concept we are learning. So, and as you grow, that will inform you on how to learn. So, if I want to learn how to paint now, I won't learn how to paint by reading alone. Neither will I learn how to paint by listening alone. Or even if I'm learning how to squat properly, how to squat using the dumbbells, I won't learn how to squat using the dumbbell by listening or reading. The best way for me to learn using the dumbbell will be watching somebody actually carrying the dumbbell and practicing with it. So based on the concept you want to learn or based on the subject, your encoding process can change. And then once it's changed, your body or your muscle will gradually change into that way of encoding too. All right. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Okafor. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I can't seem to see another question. I also saw a
Someone
question from Blessing. Okay, carry on.
Okay, someone said, how can one overcome procrastination? That is still Okafor. Okay, so just like I shared in my notes earlier, so overcoming procrastination can come from the angle of time management. So how much time do you need? So now, take for instance, I'm to write my team report and submit by the end of the year, which is on the 20th. We are closing on the 20th, and I have to submit my team report as the team lead. Now, because of the severity of my team and because of the amount of information that I need to put inside that report, I can't wait. I can't wait till on the 18th to start writing that report. Whatever report I start writing on the 18th might not capture the true position of my team for the whole year. So what do I need to do? Number one, break the task into different chunks. And what does that task mean? I lead a cross-functional team of designers, of engineers back-end, front-end, AI, ML engineer, and also a mobile engineer. 1 minute, please. Please give me 1 minute.
All right. As we wait for Sharon to come back, can everyone drop something they've learned in today's session in the chat? Okay,
Right?
welcome back.
Yeah, I'm back. So now I will break my report down to different sessions. That means, okay, front-end engineer, give me some information. Back-end engineer, give me some information. Mobile team, give me some information. AI/ML team, give me some information. I now put that information together. Right from now, I don't have to wait, or I shouldn't wait till 18th or 19th for me to be reaching out to, those smaller teams. So breaking your task into different parts, into smaller units, then following through, allocating the right time. So I might want to do, okay, today and tomorrow is for backend and front end. 2 days to come is for AI/ML and mobile. Then, okay, for the next 4 days, what I will now do is that I compile whatever report they've gathered together. I now put them together to present for the engineering and product team. So breaking down tasks and managing your time. Don't wait till the grace period. Can somebody type, don't wait till the grace period? Yeah, because the grace period might not be the true position of your capacity, or the true position of the report I'm supposed to give. Okay. Regina asks, what is a PRD? Oh, PRD is product requirement document. I just use that as an example about breaking down tasks into different parts. All right. Someone said my iOS is not supporting to download and join Slack, so I can access the channels for learning and keeping tabs for assignment. Please, is there anything? I normally you should be able to to download Slack on your iOS. I have Slack on my iPhone. You might want to update your operating system, your iOS. Perhaps the version you are using does not support Slack. But you should be able to download Slack on your phone. All right.
I think the other question I saw was someone who said, Blessing, what advice will you give someone with ADHD in terms of learning and staying focused?
Okay.
I don't know what ADHD stands for, but I think there's something around attention disorder. We could look out for that.
Okay. ADHD is actually attention deficit hyperreactive disorder. So some people have a very short attention span. So for people with a short attention span, you might want to break things down using the Pomodoro technique, like studying for 25 minutes. Yours might not be 25 minutes, it might be less than 25 minutes. They find it difficult to focus. So, and spending longer time studying might not work for them. So you might want to say, oh, okay, this is my notebook. How many pages of notes have I jotted down? 8 pages. Okay, I'm going to do 1 page today. And doing that 1 page today, I just want to spend 30 minutes. And I want to do 10 and 25 minutes with a 5-minute break. So learning at intervals might work for you, Blessing, for people with ADHD that have the attention deficiency. So learning, in a smaller chunk of time can help. All right. So somebody say, how can one effectively manage several tasks that are all important? I always find myself in this area too, Ibrahim. So those tasks are all important, but which one is mandatory and compulsory at the moment? Now, take for instance, I'm doing a research on a payment that my customer can use to pay from different countries. I'm not going to work on that feature until January. It is important for me to start looking for that platform that allows multi-currency payment. Is it compulsory? Is it important? Yes. Is it compulsory for me to do? Yes. Is it mandatory for me to do right now? No. What is important, compulsory, and mandatory for me to do right now is to work on my team reports. So though all of those things are important, you still have to put them on a scale of preference. Yes, my first feature that I'll be rolling out by January is to accept multi-currency payment from customers. However, I have an important, mandatory, compulsory task to submit my team report by 20th of December. The research can be done during my holiday. So in scale of preferences, you put all of your important tasks by scaling them on the one that is super important, mandatory, and compulsory at the moment, as the moment permits. All right. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Ibrahim. All right. So Ibrahim also asked, how can you learn when your brain keep rejecting everything you put in? So you might be suffering from burnout. So, and when you suffer from a burnout, take time off. Take time off. It might be a day, it might be 2 days. Take time off. It might be you not opening your laptop if it's not important. It might be you not opening things that get you overwhelmed. So you are experiencing a burnout. It might be physically and mentally. So if it is both, take time off, take care of yourself, do something that is not brain tasking, do something that is not brain tasking. So yeah, that can help you. Abigail said, how do you know when to stop learning something and pivot to something else? Because not everyone is suited to every field. How does someone know when to stop trying? This is a very serious one. So let's break it down. How do you know when to stop learning something and pivot to something else? Now, that thing that you are learning in the first place, why are you learning it? You have to define the why. So it's just like, I need to learn how to drive. Why do I need to learn how to drive? Because I want to own a car and I need car. Why do I need a car? I need car as a means of transportation. Now, knowing my why will propel, okay, do I now want to pivot to driving Caterpillar? Why do I need to learn how to drive Caterpillar? Oh, because of I want to go into I want to go to Germany or Japan, and I want to be going and be driving heavy duty truck. That is why I want to learn Caterpillar. So define your why. Defining your why are you learning in the first place, can become a pivot to you moving to the next thing. So why are you in old school? I'm in old school because I want to have a digital skill. Now you have a digital skill. Perhaps you are in the cloud track. You are learning. Now you want to pivot to something else. From cloud engineering, you want to pivot to SRE, site reliability engineering. That is the next thing for you to do, because your why is you want to learn cloud engineering. And while you are learning cloud engineering, the next thing for you to learn that you've discovered based on your current need, is that you are doing more of site reliability alongside being a cloud engineer. Then the next thing for you is to explore site reliability and learn from it. So knowing your why do you why are you learning, and the need for you to learn. Why are you learning and the need for you to learn is super important for you to pivot to something else. So you've learned cloud engineering. I think this we answer your two questions together, because not everyone is suited to every field. Yeah. Why are you learning? You want a digital skill. What digital skills are you learning? Cloud engineering. Within cloud engineering, you discover that you have more interest in site reliability or solution architect or cloud architect. So then you've defined your why and the need. So it's now important for you to learn site reliability engineering, because that is the need at the moment. So then you pivot to the next thing. So how does someone know when to stop trying? When to stop trying? If you are back to the question Ibrahim asked, that when your brain start rejecting, when you are learning, it's not just working. You might need to purge out your mind. You might need to get uh, your sanity back. You might be suffering from an emotional breakdown. You might be suffering from a physical breakdown. You might need to sort all those things first for you to be in a better frame of mind for you to start learning. So by the time you are learning new concepts and your body is rejecting it, just stop so that you don't damage your intellectual muscle. All right. All right. Someone asked, how do you go about encoding when you are finding it difficult to assimilate new subjects? So there are different way of encoding. We've spoken about audiovisual and textual base. So you might want to test out the different form of encoding. Are you reading? Where you shared a PDF and the PDF doesn't make sense to you? So if I were in your shoe, I'll just put, if it is how to develop storyboard, and you are seeing that concept in a PDF. What I'm going to do, if I'm reading and I'm not getting through it, is to go to YouTube, how to develop storyboard. Perhaps when I start seeing somebody doing it and explaining the concepts, it might become clearer. So try different encoding process to see the ones that works for you and help you assimilate. Right?
Hi, Shaun. Maybe for us to close on time, I think we might limit the questions we would take, maybe, and maybe finish with the last question that you answered, because I see it's almost 7:30.
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like you've touched on almost every aspect, especially with the question where someone was asking, when do you know when to stop? I think there are people who are always asking themselves, should I be learning tech? Why am I learning this thing? Like, I feel like I don't know. I'm not, catching up with learning this coding thing. I've never done this before, but I don't think I could have answered it any better by understanding your why. Coding is not, it might not be easy, but then when you know your why, you push through. And it's like
Yeah.
as if Shona has seen my newsletter, which I shared a few days ago, which was about uncovering your why. Why are you at Old School Africa? Why are you learning data science? If you know your why, you can push irrespective of the limitations or the difficulties. So I think for the sake of time, so that we don't take
Yeah.
forever.
Can I answer this last question by uh enjoying, though the question does not relate
For
to
sure.
our topic of today. Just want this question. Advice which is better to work in a tech company or work as techie in a non-tech company? I know it is not tallying with our class, but I feel I can ask. Okay. So tech company and non-tech company. Number one, do they have a tech team? Um, Let me use the example of Dangote. Dangote is not a tech company, right? Dangote is not a tech company. Dangote is an FMCG, you know, a large scale production company. They have tech team. I have a friend that we served together that is working as a data analyst uh, at Dangote that time. I have a friend that was working at Boa Cement. So Boa Cement is not a tech company, but they have a tech team. So far, the organization have a department that needs your skill. So if the organization needs your skill or they have a department that needs your skill, it doesn't matter if you are working for Facebook or you are working for uh, Google or all whatnot. So you might be working at Amazon. You know, Amazon is an e-commerce, retail, and also a cloud company. You working at Amazon, you might not be working at AWS, and you're working at Amazon, and you're working as an engineer working on Amazon retail shops or Amazon e-commerce platform. So it's not a must that you work in a tech company, but so far the company you want to work with or where opportunity provide itself for you as a team or a department that needs your skill, then you can go ahead. All right. I hope that answers your question, Anjorin. Yeah. So that would be our last question. Okay. Uh we are off this Sandrine is off the stage. Okay, welcome back, Sandrine.
Yeah, sorry, my internet was interrupted.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. I
all
think
right.
we are good.
Okay, so I guess the last question has been answered. Thank you very much, Sharon. This was very important, and I don't think I've talked at the beginning of the session. And if anyone doesn't know me yet, I am Sandrine, and I am the Career Services Coordinator at ASCO Africa. So you might be wondering what learning how to learn has to do with career services, right? Uh, there was a time I've been engaging in different interviews with learners that we recommended for internships. And then I see some learners struggling to explain some technical concepts during interviews because they've entirely forgotten about them. They would ask something they've learned, but then they couldn't recall it. And I've seen it happening multiple times. So I know that we had to do something about that, making sure that we not only provide some learning materials, but also share information about how to learn it so that when it's time when you have to use it, you can still record it and put it to use. So that's how this session came, and Shawn was among the people who brought this concept of learning how to learn when I was sharing the issue. So it was really great hearing from him today, and I hope all the knowledge he shared, you're going to make use of it because I promise you it's going to be rewarding. Whether if it's practicing, if it's encoding what you're learning, is something that you're going to need in the long run. Even as you transition in your career, you always be expected to learn something new to in your job. So when you've mastered the art of learning, when learning is easy for you, it's easy for you to take on any task, and it's easy for you to excel in a new role because it's just about learning and adapting to it. So without taking much of the time, thank you very much, Sharon. This was very insightful. I hope everyone learned something. If you can maybe type one thing you learned today, please type it as we say goodbye to Sharon. Um, I would like to see, even if it's one thing you learned today, what would it be? If you had to, this is also about encoding. Is it, what did you call it, Sharon? Is it okay, see, I forgot already. It's like, bringing what you've learned without looking at your notes. I don't know, I don't remember the exact term. But what is it that you remember that you're going to take as your takeaway? Okay, I'm seeing encoding. Okay, retrieval. You don't know something well enough until you put it into writing. I feel like pinning this one. Okay, Sean, I hope you're seeing the comments. How to
Yeah, yeah,
overcome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm seeing.
Yes, let's go. Let's keep them coming. Okay, active recall. Thank you very much, Madina. That's active recall. Repetitive learning helps in better retention of memory. Yes. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I don't know when he talked about that, but that's also true, Ibrahim. Uh, okay. People are asking me to show my face. Next time, I'll show my face. Okay, reflecting, create a routine, and learn at your peak hours. Yes, bracing. That's very right. Um, repetitive call. All right. Thank you. One thing that maybe I could also share. I remember one of the learner who really did his interview perfectly in one of the interviews and also got the job with a very big company. I called him and asked, okay, how did you manage? Because you really aced your interview. And he told me that he took on initiative to explain everything he's learned to his fellow friends. Whenever he learned about something with the instructor, he would just go and share it with someone. He even started the YouTube channel so that he could just go through that process of resharing what he has learned. and it helped him. Like his interview was really, really uh, well prepared for. So just find something, whatever works for you, that you're going to use to make you remember the key things that you need to remember. So I'm
Yeah.
seeing more things coming. Thank you all for sharing. Sean, if you have any last words you would like to share before we close this session.
Yeah. So I would like to hear more from them. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Write about this session. One of the ways to also internalize what you've learned is also sharing. Like I mentioned, if you don't have a blog yet, go and create one. Medium, Ashnode, Substack, which one that works for you. You are learning every week. You meet with your instructor every week. You are share different materials. Start learning and build your digital footprint. It might You might get your next job from what you've shared, or from that article that you post, from that quote that you post. So start learning uh from there too. All right. I'm going to share because I use Figma. Okay, let me see. Let me share the link. Hold on, let me copy. All right, I'm sharing the link to the slide now.
All right.
Okay, okay. So I just shared the link to the slide to both the chat session and Q&A. All right, so that should work for everyone. All right. Thank you, Sandrine, for having me. I'm really glad to be with you guys and look forward to future engagements with the uh, learners too. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Sean. It's been an absolute pleasure having you tonight. Everyone, thank you for joining today's session. Have a great evening, day, or whatever it is, depending on where you are. Bye for
Yeah.
now.
And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance, everyone. Please
I know,
do
right?
enjoy your
Some of us
holiday.
are still in March. Me, I'm still in March.
How now?
I don't know. This year has gone so fast. I'm still in March. But Merry
Me,
Christmas.
I'm already in January 2025.
Wow. Okay. I can't relate. I cannot relate. I'm still in March 2024. Anyways, guys, have a great festive season and we see each other in our next upcoming sessions. Bye.